Hey everyone, as part of my review I wanted to do a 9-hole course vlog. I went out and played the back 9 at my home course, playing a 2-ball scramble with the Maxfli Tour and Maxfli Tour X. Hole 10 at my home course is a little tight. It's a slight dogleg right. I haven't hit driver on this all year. I've been recently doing that, been hitting my driver better. First up is the Tour. First swings of the day here was a pretty hard draw to the left that was into the trees. Followed that up here with a Tour X that I floated out to the right but in a much better spot. Left it about 75-80 yards here to the right. First up with the Tour, kind of hit a short game shot that got caught up in that trees and compensated for that by hitting a low Tour X shot here. You might be wondering why you see all the rain or all the sprinklers going on the greens, and yes, here I'm going to get hit with some sprinklers as I'm putting. My course had an outing this morning. The owner didn't have any tee times beforehand, so let the maintenance crew come in a little late. Let me get out on the course just to shoot some of this footage and play. So I do play every now and then in the sprinklers and get a little wet, but end up two putting for par here. I'm really liking both the Tour and the Tour X. I think I could probably play either on a given day. The Tour being a little bit softer. Compression-wise, I'm typically more of a higher compression player, so the X is a little bit better fit for me, I think. Here I hit a couple 4-irons on hole number 11, just not great shots. Followed up with a couple 5-irons from about 200 yards into the green. Chunked the second one, but just kind of a struggle to get off the get out of the car and hit some balls this morning. Here I hit a Tour X first. I had been hitting the Tour for the most time, but I thought I hit that really well. It didn't really check up and ran past, and then compensated for the Tour, which I found to just not have quite as much spin around the greens for me. Compensated a little bit, decelerated, and just kind of like chunk and runned it onto the green, and not a good shot at all. Putting wise, I've noticed the Tour is a little bit more of it's less of a click and just a more muted sound off the putter face. You see I use a Lab Directed Force 2.1, which is kind of a huge spaceship looking thing. The Tour X is a little bit more, tingy off of it. Coming up to the par 3 here, sprayed the Tour X a little right. This was probably my best shot with the Tour right here. It landed on the back side of a little bit of a ridge in the green, and it actually checked up very nicely. I hadn't played the Tour in over a week just because I didn't like it around the greens. I liked the X much more for the spin, but the Tour, when I hit it well, it does stop just as well as the X. I think overall the X stops more often, despite maybe not the best swings. Here on my second attempt, was able to put that in for a birdie to get me back to even. This shot here in my head, it kind of illustrates the difference between the two balls. That was probably one of my better driver swings of the day. A really low piercing flight out of the Tour. Not great when the fairways are wet, when they're watering, because just don't get that kind of roll. And then this swing just wasn't quite as good, but it was more of a kind of a cut Tour X, and I ended up being within a couple yards of each other. The Tour was slightly longer, but I hit the ball better, so I'm not terribly surprised. There from about 60 yards, the Tour rolls off the back. Really kind of had a pinch down here because there was some standing water in the fairways and it was pretty wet, and I really just couldn't get any sort of spin on the ball. And you'll see the Tour come in here slightly better. Of course, when you get to hit 2 shots every hole, it's a little easier to correct it. GoPro's on the flag stick here. Miss both of these and tap in for my par. Been really impressed with the distance off the tee from both these balls. This was the Tour. This ended up being a 287-yard drive out of the Tour. This is you can kind of see that it's a slightly uphill fairway, and I hit that in the rough. And to get that out to 287 is quite the poke. I took a little bit, knowing I had a ball safe, I took a bigger swing on this with the Tour X, and I thought that this would be yards past the Tour. It ended up being about 10 yards short. This par 5 is a double layup almost. I pretty much go driver, wedge into the green because of a pond that I can't quite carry from here. Two decent wedge shots out of the pretty thick rough here. They actually landed about 1.5 feet apart. Those are actually where the balls landed next to each other here. And here I kind of dialed up a 54 from about 125 yards. Had to give it just about everything I could to get it there. Hit it pretty good, left it about 10 feet short of the pin. Great stopping power by the Tour X. You know, it's a one hop and stop type of ball that I really enjoy on these greens. This is the first one here as the mower is coming up on me as I'm kind of rushing to get around the course here. And roll the second one in for another birdie. And from here on out, I'm starting to really dodge sprinklers. So here I hit a 2 hybrid with the Tour that was okay, but not great. I have to quickly get out of the way as to not get wet. And again, just this Tour X, I really like the ball flight. I like the pop it's got. This was a little better swing. It wasn't a great swing, but ended up right up on the fringe. And as was the theme today, my short game was not great. I hit the Tour okay. Again, just didn't really stop. Got a little too much of it and rolled out past the pin to about 20 feet. And then again, I overcorrect, try to hit a higher Tour with the thought that it's just not going to stop as quickly for me. And again, just kind of half-heartedly don't hit it very well. Was pretty frustrated till I lined the Tour X up here. Made a really good stroke. I like the way that both these balls feel off the club face, off the putter face that is. And rolling another actually pretty long birdie to get me to 2 under. Wheels start to kind of fall off here. I had to move my camera way out front because of the sprinkler. As I was walking up to the tee box, my hands got wet. I couldn't get them dry. First ball, I pull left with the Tour. My hand slips off. Second ball, completely slips off. Thankfully, the Tour ended up here about 150 out. This is a 9-iron that I pushed to the right into the sand trap. And then hit another Tour X ball that just stops, hits the slope, and comes back just a foot or two, leaving me a pretty big breaking putt here. Not much I can do. Durability wise, both these balls have been good. You know, I said I hit that in the sand. I've hit several trees already, as you can see in this round. No scuffs, no real marks. My only complaint so far on the finish is I wish I could have the yellow ones, and I know they're on the way. White is just not what I liked playing, but tap in par. 17's a long par 4, and I end up in the same situation. My hands get a little wet, and I'm trying to rush to avoid the sprinkler here. Just did not hit the ball great. Hit it pretty solid, just left the face open, ended up spraying one out into the right, down the 18th fairway, leaving me about 150 here with a pretty clear shot. Just got to get it over the green with a, or over the trees with a 9-iron. Do end up putting it to about 30 feet. Love to do better than a scramble. But again, both balls, you know, kind of behave well, behave very similarly. They feel similar. Again, the nod goes to the Tour being slightly softer, more of a thwack off the club face than the click of the Tour X. Again, both good balls, both roll nicely on the green. Almost rolled that one in from 30 feet for a birdie. I'll take a tap in par with both. My putting has been excellent since switching to these balls, so nothing I can negate there. Coming up 18 here, I'm already 2 under. Just wanted to hit a nice drive out of bounds left. And this is one I actually drew left. Thought it was out of bounds. Thought I had lost my first Maxfli Tour. Tee up the Tour X and took kind of a more conservative swing. That was not a full-on driver swing. Was more worried and choked down. Just wanted to get it into the fairway. Ended up leaving me about 110 yards out. Take a full 58. Chunk the first Tour X a little bit, but would have been a perfectly fine 10-12 foot putt uphill. Commit to hitting a little better wedge shot here and leave it about 10 feet past. Again, the Tour hopped and stopped here. I don't know if I was putting a better swing on the ball, but I was able to get both balls to stop pretty easily today. It may have also been the greens being pretty wet. Make a nice read here. A little slippery 8-10 footer downhill. Knock it in to get to 3 under. Overall, a really solid round. Really enjoying these balls, and I want to say thank you for watching. And it's been a joy to make the video and review these.